The movie starts somewhere in Russia. We see a heavily armed truck transporting prisoners to Russian penal colony. Before reaching their destination, the truck stops at a gas station, where the guards allow them 5 minutes to relieve themselves. This is where we are introduced to our superhero named Kraven the Hunter. The journey continues, and after a few minutes of travel, they arrive at the colony, where the other cellmates greeted them with insults and disdain. Each prisoner is given their cell with some basic items they need. Kraven enters his cell and sees his cellmate, who tells him that he hates having a roommate. Kraven replies that they already have something in common. He then allows him to stay. The next day, Kraven is working out when two thugs comes near him and say he cannot work out there because it's their private area. He ignores them, but the thugs try to provoke him. Kraven beats them, and a prison guard comes to him and takes him to the prison boss, Seaman Chorny, a mobster who runs his criminal empire from the prison. Chorny asks if he knows him. Kraven tells he is the leader of Kirov gang, who killed thousands of innocent men and women around the world. When Chorny asks his name, Kraven introduces himself, but Chorny says the Hunter is just a myth. Kraven grabs a tooth from a tiger skin rug and proceeds to slash Chorny's goons before jamming the tooth in Chorny's neck. He kills another prisoner and uses him as a decoy before making his escape from the prison. He continues running through the icy storm as a wolf attempts to attack him, but he uses his power to calm the animal. He orders it to back off and reaches the plane, boards it, and takes off. The scene shifts 16 years into the past, where we see young Kraven and his brother Dmitri as children at school. Their father, mob boss Nikolai, comes to pick them up. The father informs his sons that their mother had committed suicide. Kraven blames his father, saying his abusive behavior drove their mother to suicide. Meanwhile, a young girl named Calypso is talking to her grandmother. The grandmother gives her a vial of a special drug, telling Calypso that the recipe for it has been passed down through their family for generations. She explains that it's a symbol of the spirit that opened the gateway to another world, and it has the power to heal anyone who drinks it. The next day, Nikolai takes his sons for hunting, along with his team. They are joined by Alexei Sitsevich, who wants to join Nikolai's empire, but Nikolai does not see him as useful. Just then, the group comes across a big lion. The lion tries to attack them, but Nikolai quickly shoots it. The furious lion then grabbed Kraven and attacks him. At the same time, Calypso and her parents are taking picture of deer when she spots Kraven and comes to help him. She sees Kraven with lion before it leaves. Calypso treats his wounds, while a drop of the lion's blood falls into Kraven's body and begins to alter his DNA. Then a helicopter arrives and takes Kraven to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctors try their best to save him, but declare him dead. Moments later, Sergei's altered DNA kicks in and miraculously comes back to life. The next day, his brother and father arrive to take him home. Immediately after arriving, Nikolai questions Kraven that why he didn't shoot Lion when he had enough chance. Nikolai adds that he is a loser like his mother and says if he's scared like this, he will kill himself and his brother too. This makes Kraven really sad, and he decides to leave the house. He grabs some money and his passport and comes across the roof of the house. Suddenly, his foot slips but lands safely on the ground. Dmitri finds him and asks him to come with him, but Kraven tells him stay with father. He keeps walking and ends up in a field where a wildebeest stampede. The animals run right past him, and one that is blocked by Sergei waits until the others have run past so it can keep moving. He continues journey as evening falls. The next morning, he spots a deer and goes after it. This is when he discovers his true abilities, running and jumping with the power of a lion. Moments later, he hears noise coming from the field. He goes to check it out and finds all the wildebeest are killed with their horns removed. He then finds two hunters with a gun. The aged hunter threatens Kraven to leave, but he does not scare. He picks up a knife off the ground and throws it into the older hunter's head before proceeding to beat the younger hunter to death with his bare hands. After this, the story shifts back to present. Kraven arrives at his destination and gets a call from his brother Dmitri, asking him if he is fine. He hangs up the call and takes a long nap. Upon waking up, he continues to go after criminals with enhanced animal-like abilities, including heightened sight, smell, and forming a bond with animals. Kraven later finds a convoy of mercenaries and blocks them from entering an area to hunt animals. He tries to explain that killing animals just for their horns is illegal, but they ignore him. And when they move ahead, Kraven enters their van and slaughters them, even biting one guy's nose off. The mercenary leader retreats and runs to his employer, thinking Kraven was dealt with. only to find Kraven sitting in the boss's chair since he already killed him. Kraven fires a crossbow and impales the leader with an arrow and leaves the scene. After this, we see Calypso, the girl who saved Kraven from the lion. She is now a lawyer. She learns that her close friend and colleague was murdered by guys working for Chorny. Kraven approaches her, revealing himself as the boy that she saved, and also informs her that he is the Hunter that has been targeting and killing major criminals like Chorny. Later that night, she checks the internet and finds out Kraven is true, as he is responsible for her men's death. The next day, Calypso and Kraven meet again. She tells him that she is glad he killed Chorny. Kraven shows her list of criminals who he is going to kill, but she informs him that if he go by the names on the list, will affect. After this, we see Alexei, who is now a mercenary working with crony Bahari. He learns of Kraven's exploits and sees this as an opportunity to move in on Nikolai's criminal empire. Alexei and Bahari approach other criminals to get them to work for him, but they refuse and shoot Alexei. Alexei then shows off his mutation, which causes his skin to harden and turn him into the Rhino, something he keeps off with a serum. Alexei's gunmen kill all but 2 of the criminals, and one of them kills the other to be employed by Alexei. Later, Nikolai hosts a birthday party for his son, Dmitri. While Dmitri singing song for his dad, the goon who joined Alexei earlier attempts to assassinate Nikolai, but Nikolai uses him as a human shield. A shootout ensues, resulting in heavy casualties among both Alexei's and Nikolai's men. Dmitri is shocked by what just happened. Nikolai, furious, berates him, calling him a loser and criticizing him for failing to defend himself. He also adds that he wants a warrior, not a coward. The next day, Kraven surprises Dmitri by showing up at his apartment. Later, both of them go to a club for a friendly dinner until Nikolai arrives and ruins the evening. After dinner, Kraven takes his brother back to the apartment and puts him to bed after he drinks too much. Kraven then goes outside and sleeps under the open sky. The next morning, when he wakes up and goes to Dmitri's room, he is not there. He finds blood on the bed. He looks outside and sees Alexei's goons taking Dmitri into the van. Kraven chases them on foot throughout the city, smashing his way through windows and scaling walls to catch up to them. But they manage to get away. He continues chasing, but the villain gets on a helicopter and flies away. Kraven meets with Calypso and explains what just happened. She reassures him that she will use every available resource to find his brother. He then goes to meet Nikolai and asks him who they were who kidnapped Dmitri. Nikolai tells him he even does not know who they were, as he has a long list of his enemies. Nikolai then shows him severed finger of Dmitri and tells him they have given 48 hours to deliver a $20 million ransom for Dmitri's return. Kraven insists on paying that amount, but Nikolai refuses, telling him that money is not an issue. It's all about power and weakness. If they pay what they want, it will clearly show his weakness, and he loses everything. Later, Kraven arrives at the location and finds Alexei's goons. He fights them and hangs one of them out of the window, demanding to know Dmitri's whereabouts. Just then, he notices someone in the distance aiming a missile at them. He quickly jumps out of the way and lands safely. He questions the goon again, and the goon reveals that Rhino is behind all this. Meanwhile, Alexei, knowing that Kraven will come after him, hires an assassin known as the Foreigner to come deal with him. The Foreigner is able to manipulate time so that he can do things like grab a gun out of an assailant's hand and shoot them with it. While they wait for his arrival, Alexei shows Dmitri his mutation and tells him how being the Rhino causes him physical pain. He mentions Dr. Miles Warren, a doctor in New York, who helped him with his condition. Meanwhile, Kraven calls Calypso to inform her that Alexei knows who he is and they are coming after her. Just then, 5 Alexei goons arrive at her firm. She then grabs her things and escapes with Kraven. They fly to the jungle where Kraven knows that Dmitri is being kept. While walking, a wildcat attacks Kraven that Kraven knew as a cub, and he wrestles with her for a bit before he and Calypso keep moving. Alexei and his team sense that Kraven is near, so they prepare and head into the jungle with Dmitri. While waiting, a wildcat, which we saw earlier, attacks them, giving Kraven the chance to kill Alexei's men. The Foreigner confronts Kraven in a helicopter in the middle of the jungle. He shoots him with a dart containing a powerful toxin, causing Kraven to hallucinate that he is surrounded by spiders. The Foreigner hits him with 2 more darts and prepares to execute him until Calypso fires an arrow through the Foreigner's eye. She then uses her own voodoo elixir to heal Kraven and get him back on his feet. Meanwhile, Alexei Goons informs him that Kraven is killed by the foreigner. He then moves Dmitri along with a convoy. While they moving, a group of wildebeest run after them, which was sent by Kraven. Seeing this, Alexei then allows himself to fully transform into the Rhino and engage in a showdown with Kraven. The two duke it out in the middle of the stampede, with Kraven unable to penetrate through Rhino's skin. When Rhino holds him up by the neck, Kraven spots the entry wound where Alexei injects the serum, and Kraven impales it, weakening Alexei. Kraven then ties him up in a wire and flings him into the stampede, causing him to get trampled. Alexei slowly succumbs to his wounds and dies. Kraven later confronts Nikolai in the woods, as it was he who sent Alexei footage of Kraven escaping prison and alerting Alexei to his identity. This was all a plan for Nikolai to bait Kraven into killing Alexei, since Nikolai knew that Dmitri would be an easy target and that his brother would kill to get him back. In retaliation, Kraven quietly steals the bullets from all of Nikolai's rifles and leaves as a bear arrives to maul a defenseless Nikolai to death. Kraven later meets with Dmitri at the nightclub. They have a disagreement about the paths their lives are taking, with Dmitri saying that Kraven is just like their father, another man hunting for a trophy. Dmitri starts to walk away, and Kraven follows him. But when Dmitri turns around, he turns into his brother. Dmitri is now wearing a suit given to him by Dr. Warren. The suit allows Dmitri to shapeshift into anybody, making him the chameleon. The brothers bitterly part ways again. Kraven returns home and finds both a package and note from Nikolai. The note reiterates that Kraven is just like Nikolai, a hunter. Kraven then pulls out the gift, a vest with an animal pelt on it. Kraven puts it on and begins to stare at himself in the mirror. In this way, movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.